So I definitely wanted to introduce Kat because Kat and I go back, I think, about 15 years ago. And she's going to be talking about a little homeschooling collective cooperative school called Greenbriar in Bastrop, Texas, that back in the day, for a while, my kids attended there. And it's a wonderful little school. Pardon me? Fa- fa- Bastrop. Yeah, Bastrop, Texas. It's the county that's just east of Austin. Uh, yeah, yeah. In the pines, the piney woods. Um, Kat has been in the liberty movement forever. Like, I mean, forever. Like, probably when she was born, she was like, get me out of here. I want to be free. And I've known her for a long time. Various meetings, all kinds of things. For a while, she actually was on the front lines with the Ron Paul movement, which is pretty impressive, right? Um, and apparently, she first realized that she was an anarchist at Porkfest when she got up on a soapbox to talk. It's kind of like I realized I was an anarchist when I came here to speak one time. I'm like, whoa, I'm really like these people. Oh my God, I am one of these people. Like, yeah, we don't need government. What the hell? What was I thinking? You guys like Joel Salatin's talk at the crypto show? Yeah. I am going to give him endless shit about being on the crypto show. You know, Joe Salatin just has a flip phone. No shit, no kidding. I wish I was that way. But yeah, I know. I'm jealous too. But you know what happens when you give a farmer endless shit? They compost it. They turn it into food. So he'll take it. He'll take it really well. I hope you all can join us tonight at the dinner. I just, in so much respect and admiration for Joel and what he's done, and I think I've read most of his 16 books and done his Salatin semester. Just a wonderful thing. The I Heal Collective over there, if you need a massage. Oh, yeah. And then there's lots and lots of vendors. I love supporting the vendors here, and I hope you can, you know, a friend of mine was here and he was like kind of grumbling about some of the prices. And I'm like, hey, do you realize that the stuff you buy here is extraordinary quality? You cannot buy a lot of the medicines here or the things that these people are offering. So definitely support them also. Kat, how you doing? Or do you want me to tell a joke? I got one more joke for you. Okay. Can you all envision a carton of a dozen eggs, and then underneath it it says, "We made the final payment and it's now all mine." All right. Y'all, here is Catherine Blythe Bonadin.
Thank you, Marjorie. So I met Marjorie on her property. I'm going to move this forward so I can look at my clipboard because I'm always thinking about work, even while I'm talking, believe it or not. I met Marjorie at her property in Red Rock, Texas in like, I don't know, maybe 2010, 2011. She had a workshop on holistic natural tooth care, like how to survive in the wilderness without a toothbrush. It was one of the coolest workshops I'd ever been to. We like literally went out and scavenged sticks and then learned which types of sticks to use. And if you like use them on your teeth, your saliva starts to mix with the stick and it like turns into a toothbrush. And by the end of it, my teeth actually felt as clean as they would or cleaner after going to a dentist. You know, when you leave, sometimes you can like still taste the toothpaste. So that was awesome. And Marjorie used to do workshops at Brave New Books, and her Grow Your Own Groceries program and all that was super, super inspirational for me and is part of what set me on my journey of raising my family the way I'm raising them. My phone was sitting, I guess, like in the sun during that panel, and it overheated. And then my 11 o'clock alarm went off, and the phone like it was totally black with the alarm going off and I can't see my screen, and I shared my presentation with them, but I didn't give them access apparently. So we're not going to get to see my really amazing PowerPoint, and I'm feeling sad about that. What I wanted to talk to you guys about today is Greenbriar Intentional Community. I think it's a really neat model that could be replicated in other places. It is a nonprofit 501c3. It is 55 years old this year. And Greenbriar and I actually share a birthday, March 26th, which I think is so cool. So I found this community once and forgot about it. We had moved into a converted school bus, the Bitcoin bus. Y'all saw Roger Ver yesterday. He was actually one of our key sponsors for the Bitcoin bus. My ex-husband and I drove all over the United States giving away Bitcoin, Dash, and Ethereum, and no, we didn't keep any. And man, I really wish we did, because we literally gave it all away. We taught people how to set up crypto wallets. This was back in 2015, 2016. And we were trying to figure out where to park our house bus that was close enough to Brave New Books in Austin, Texas, that we could commute in and it wouldn't be too long and da-da-da-da-da. And I called Greenbriar. I found them on the internet. And I was like, hey, how many kids are living there? And at the time, there were 2. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing a 45-minute to an hour drive through traffic in Austin to have my kids around 2 other kids, right? At this point, we were like parking the bus at a homeschool friend's house, staying for 6 months. And I really like that model, having your own house, but being in the same area. You have autonomy. You don't have to like wake up and see each other in the kitchen. You know, you can like choose when you're around each other. And I thought, well, I like this model. I want to find more of it. Flash forward. I do the bus life. I move out to the Houston area in the converted school bus. I find out about Anarchapulco. And as fate would have it, I ended up in a family court situation, and I was required by the government to relocate to the Travis County area in Central Texas. And at the time, this was devastating for me because I thought I had already talked to the Montessori school in the Bay in Acapulco. My kids are going to be spring in the Montessori Bay, fall somewhere, homeschool co-op. I was really involved in like the homeschool co-ops in Texas. We'll do fall in Texas. We'll go back and forth. This is going to be so great. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, world schooling plans demolished. And I'm like, this is horrible. This is the end of my way of life. And I was really, really struggling. Like, I was so angry. I was so mad. I was so disappointed. Like, how could this happen? I had the perfect setup. I had the perfect life. Well, sometimes God has different plans for us. And it's really, really, really unfolding in a beautiful way for me. I made a post on Facebook. And I said, here's what I need. I have to be in one of these specific counties. I want to be able to park my converted school bus there. I want there to be other homeschooled children, because at this time my children were not in the system, my older kids. I want to be able to take my chickens with me, because even though we were doing the bus life, I literally would move with my chickens. Like, we would put them in cages in our converted school bus, drive to our next location where we would live for, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, slow travel is what we were doing after our big, travel across the country. I want to be able to take my chickens. I want my kids to be able to walk to other children's houses without being in a public setting. I want to be in the woods. I mean, I was so specific, right? I line itemed. This is what I want. Can you help me? 4 people recommended Greenbriar. 4 people recommended Greenbriar. And I don't remember, Marjorie, were you one of the people that recommended Greenbriar to me? Or is it just coincidental that your kids ended up there? Maybe we learned that later. So 4 people. And these were people that I knew from different things. There's another event that I've attended many times called Rethinking Everything. It's actually kind of stopped, unfortunately, since the whole lockdown situation. But it started as Rethinking Education. They ran for 21 years. And a lot of the people involved in Rethinking Everything already knew about Greenbriar. And so I said, okay, let's find out about this Greenbriar place. So I make a phone call. I call the number. And it's hard to find info. There's one, at the time, now there's 2, YouTube video about Greenbriar. And it's actually my ex-husband's new wife interviewing the guy who answered the phone when I called. Okay, there's no information on the internet about this place at the time. We now have an actual website. Thank you, Miranda, wherever you are. We hired her to build the website. And I remember laying in the hammock talking to this guy. His name's Dave, and he's been there since year 4. So he arrived in 1972, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, if you're watching the feed. 1972 or 1973. And he has an adult child who lives at Greenbriar and has a grandchild who lives at Greenbriar. And his wife, they actually split up. She runs a Montessori school in Bastrop, Texas. So it's this really cool alternative education family. And I was laying in the hammock and just laughing till I cried talking to this guy. And I'm like, so, what do we do now? I like you. You sound cool. I'm looking for a place that, hits all these notches for me. And he's like, come to a community potluck. So I tell my husband, he's from Italy. And I'm like, look, I'm curious about this place. I don't know anything about it, but it's an intentional community. It's in the woods, and they have potlucks. Should we go? And he's like, okay. So we pick the first Wednesday, because it's every Wednesday still. If you're ever in Bastrop County or you're in the Austin area, come out on a Wednesday. We have a community potluck. Danny's been out to Greenbriar. We had a little puppy, a street dog. We drove 3 hours to go visit this place with this puppy, right? And we get there, and there's 4 peacocks walking around, and there's kids, and there's a swim pool, an above ground pool, and there's this, very rustic playground, and there's literally an alley of old school buses that people had lived in the day. I don't know if any of you have read Spiritual Midwifery by Ina May. But she talks about in that book, they went on this journey from California all the way to their property. It's now in Tennessee. It's called The Farm. And they took all these converted school buses, and children were being born. And this intentional community still exists. And I walked down this alley of buses that's still there, and I could see the history, right? I could see it. These people arrived during the hippie heyday. The property at Greenbriar was founded at the same time as the farm in Tennessee. So there was this golden window where the IRS in the United States created a nonprofit category, and land was still cheap. And some of these intentional communities still exist where hippies, actual hippies, living on the road, following music, peace and love, man, were able to buy hundreds of acres of property, okay? So Greenbriar was founded by hippies in the free school movement. That is the root. That is the core. It is so cool. And it was this gym hidden in plain sight. I'd been in Texas since 2009. And here it is, 2020. We are in the lockdown, okay? The world is shut down. And we show up to a community potluck. And we don't have to wear a mask. And everyone's eating food together, and we're like, oh, wow, this is cool. This is really cool. What weird hidden gem have we just stumbled upon? It was like walking into Narnia, how, what? I don't understand. Is this real? And it was real, and it is still real. Magical, yes, but it's an intentional community, and there's people living there, so there's problems. It's not easy, right? We run our own electrical lines. We run our own water lines. We deal with our own dirt roads. We build our own cabins. Everything is do it yourself. And you know what? When there were a lot of hippies doing a lot of things, and then there was this decline where I think through the 80s, a lot of their children moved into the corporate world, got jobs. They left a lot of junk. And so when I arrived, and I'm sure Marjorie remembers all the junk, it's gone now, by the way, because there's new families showing up. So what happened is somehow, by the grace of God, this community survived, okay? It went through this period where people grew up and moved off and got jobs and raised their families in the suburbs. And all of a sudden, after 2020, everybody's like, nah, I'm done with that. I want to go back to the woods. And so there's families showing up. And we were one of the first new families. And there was trauma in the community. They were afraid to let us in because they'd had, drama in their ranks, and they didn't know how to let people in yet again. And I found in my core what I was looking for and what I needed was an established community because I was tired, right? Marjorie mentioned my activism. I was a police accountability activist confronting police officers, getting arrested, like literally on the front lines. This is before streaming devices like this, with like Razor flip phones when Quick, I don't know if you remember the app Quick, QIK, it got bought by Skype, but it was like the first, at least on Android, streaming software. It's like super grainy, like super pixelated, and we're like confronting police with our, Razor flip phones. I mean, this was the beginning, right? This was before Occupy. This was before Black Lives Matter. This was before people started to realize, like, oh, these people are institutionalized violence against their own society, right? Like the police state it was coming, and it was there, and it was real. And I was of the Luke Rudowski generation of rabble rousers with the Adam Kokeshes and the Derek Broses, and we were really pushing back hard. And by the time I had kids, I was tired. Really, really tired. And I'm like, I don't want a startup project. And major props to all of you, Mike Winter, the people starting communities now. Yes, do it. I hope you have abundant energy for it. I did not. I needed something established. And I stumbled into Greenbriar. I'm cutting it close, aren't I? I didn't even talk about it yet. We're like leading up to it. I need a 40-minute talk, not a 20, so I'm going to go really fast. I stumbled into Greenbriar. And what I found was a working model that just needed some finesse. It functions on consensus. This is not an anarcho-capitalist community. This is a homeschooling community. And they make decisions based on consensus, and it takes a long time. Oh, we need to rerun some electrical wires. Oh, we got a grant with the money for the electrical wires. Now we're going to spend 3 months talking about who's going to do it and how they're going to get paid. It's exhausting. But I am so grateful that I get to do that. I get to have a say. I get to apply for the grants. I get to choose. I get to build my house the way I want. I get to have an influence on the way the school's being run. And we meet once a month as a community, and we meet every week as a school. And we have teachers, we have a principal, but you know what? The model at Greenbriar is that everybody's voice matters. The principal, the teacher, the administrators, the children, and the parents all have an equal say on how things are run. So, to just put a little bow on a very long-winded story that actually, if I had my PowerPoint, would have been a totally different presentation. So you are getting like a stream of conscious download moment from Kat's mind. It might feel a little ADHD. I think I've been undiagnosed my whole life. Probably that red dye, the vaccines. But I recently quit smoking weed in the last 6 months, and now I can't think as clearly as I used to because I think I was self-medicating. So with that being said, what I think it comes down to is communication. A successful community requires good communication. And at Greenbriar, we also practice the 4 agreements. I talk about that here at Anarchapulco. We're not dogmatic to it. We're not religious about it, but it's a wonderful practice to help people come together when they have differing opinions. Does anybody here know any of those 4 agreements? We're just going to go through them. Yes. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take it personal. It's not about me unless I'm the one doing it, right? Don't make assumptions. And do your best. So that, I think, is really what it comes down to for me. If we are going to build a free society, we got to create freedom in our own lives. And for me, I needed to find a community like Greenbriar. It has given me the foundation and the support system that I needed to become who I am capable of being in this world. I am so grateful for them. And if any of you all are interested, we are not necessarily open to new residents. It takes a while. You got to show up to potlucks. You got to maybe enroll your kids in school. Somehow, I moved in after going to 2 potlucks. And all the people that have moved in after me, I mean, it's taken like a year or longer. And it's like, whoa, I don't know how. But I'm telling you, there was something magical happening. And it was in the middle of the lockdown. And it was destined. And it was perfect for my family. And it's not going to be perfect for yours. What's perfect for yours is probably different. It's probably located somewhere else. It's probably structured somewhere else. And that's okay. But this is a model I think is replicatable. And I think it's really great for both children and adults. So thank you for hearing my stream of conscious download about the community where I live. greenbriarschool.org if you want to see another website that Miranda built. Thank you.